Welcome everybody to week 7 of the BTFL season 3. The Chiefs and the Broncos would head off on this Thursday night football matchup as John Elway would find Rod Smith deep. Rod Smith had 2 receptions for 77 yards in this game, and that would put the Broncos in good position. And at the 2, TD would score a TD, his lone touchdown of the game. Patrick Mahomes in the second quarter would go over the middle to Otis Taylor with his only reception of the game, 31 yards, and that would be a Harrison Butker field goal. This Albert Lewis interception was his second of 2 interceptions of John Elway, the Hall of Famer, in this game, as Patrick Mahomes rolls out, finds the Hall of Famer Tony Gonzalez for the touchdown. 10-7 ball game, 3 points. We're in the third quarter as Rod Smith gets a big catch, but he would be injured. He would be replaced by Ed McCaffrey. And deep in Chiefs territory, walk-off touchdown here by John Elway to Ed McCaffrey. Give him the salute as the Denver Broncos win this one 14-10. They are 4-3. Chiefs are 5-2. Former NFC West rivals here, the Rams at the Falcons at the Georgia Dome, and Matt Ryan would come out gunslinging, throwing it wide open, a dart to Julio Jones, 2 receptions for 87 yards, and this would be a scamper by Gerald Riggs to put the Falcons up 7-0. It's a big upset there, but Kurt Warner's trying to match. Throws the ball down the left side to Sir Isaac Bruce. He had 4 receptions for 159 yards. And Todd Gurley with a scamper down the right side. He's showing people he's not Gurley. Matt Ryan, avoiding sacksters, throws it down the left side. Again, wide open is Roddy White. That was his lone reception for 65 yards and a touchdown. Up by 7. And Gerald Riggs, he's been having a fumbling problem. He makes a mistake. He coughs it up. It's a fumble. This would lead to a Rams field goal. And then Kurt Warner, down by 4, throwing it deep again to Sir Isaac Bruce inside the 10-yard line. And then Kurt Warner finds his running back, Todd. He's showing them he's not Gurley. The Rams eventually win this one 17-14. The Rams are 4-3. The Falcons are 2-5. Struggling Raiders go to Green Bay Lambeau Field to visit the Packers. Bo Jackson, he's back from the injury list. He knows the end zone. But Don Hutson would know this deep rocket catch from Brett Favre, getting it into the red zone. And then Ahman Green would scamper to the left. He would find the end zone here. This was his first of 2 times. But Ken Stabler, he was an interception machine. He would throw an interception here to Herb Adderley. And then another Ahman Green touchdown scamper, putting the Packers up 14-0 just like that. Bo knows Jackson. He knows how to run around defenders, bobbing and weaving, going whoop around guys, getting it to the 21-yard line. And then Ken Stabler, no pressure in his face to Tim Brown, but it's intercepted by Adderley again. That's a touchback. Favre would go back, throw deep down the left side. It's James Lofton, his first of 2 touchdown passes. He had 3 receptions for 169 yards in this game, no Sterling Sharp. Field goal by the Packers, and then Favre would roll out again. The Raiders scored their first touchdown of the game, and Lofton had his second touchdown of the game. The Packers win this one by a final score of 31-7. Packers are 5-2. Raiders are 2-4. One-loss 49ers visit the average Redskins/Commanders mix. In the first quarter, Joe Montana steps up. He's showing off the wheels. He had 3 rushes for 63 yards in this game, and he gets the touchdown to put the 49ers on the board first. Sonny Jurgensen's going to throw the rainbow to Gary Clutch City Clark, and Gary Clutch City Clark gets it to the 20-yard line. Handoff here to John Riggins. He had 7 rushes for 23 yards, and this is a touchdown. It's a tie ball game. Redskins/Commanders get the ball back as Sonny Jurgensen throws it deep. Wide open is Art Monk, and Art Monk is painting a picture in the end zone. Washington Commanders / Redskins take a 7-point lead, but the 49ers are knocking on the door. Joe Montana finding Terrell Owens. He had 7 receptions for 136 yards, and that was his first of 2 touchdowns. Sonny Jurgensen throws it over the middle to Jordan Reed. He gets it into the red zone, and then Sonny Jurgensen, play action, rolls out, finds Clinton Portis. He's putting some funny glasses on in the end zone. It's 4th and long for the 49ers, and Joe Montana, he's going deep. He finds Jerry Rice, a tough catch for the Hall of Famer. And then Joe Montana with the play action, finding Terrell Owens for his 2nd touchdown. The Washington Commanders / Redskins are inside the 5. Riggins is safetied, so the Niners take a 2-point lead. And then the handoff to the newly minted Hall of Famer Roger Craig, 6 rushes for 68 yards. That was his first touchdown. 30-28 is the score. 49ers are 5-1. Redskins / Commanders are 3-4. Texans got their first win of the season last week. They're trying to get another one against the Colts, who are doing pretty well. Deshaun Watson throws it down the right side to Kevin Walter, getting on the board first for the Houston Texans. They'll get the ball back in their own territory. The throw down the left side to Andre the Giant Johnson, who had 3 receptions for 116 yards in this one. Inside the 10-yard line at least. Kevin Walters gets his 2nd touchdown of the game. It's 14-0. Will Peyton Manning and the Colts be able to do anything? No, they won't. Kareem Jackson with the big interception there, getting the ball inside Colts territory. Another handoff inside the 10. This one to Arian Foster's freeze. He gets his first of 2 touchdowns. Eric Dickerson is going to try to do something here. He's going to go, get off me! Inside the 15-yard line, the handoff. No, it's a play-action rollout. Peyton Manning sees daylight, and his slow statue stealth would find the end zone. 21-7, Colts get the ball back. Peyton Manning's throwing it into the flats to Eric Dickerson, and guys are taking each other out on the sideline, unable to tackle Eric Dickerson. Play action for Peyton Manning. Throw to Eric Dickerson, finding daylight. He's got the touchdown. It's 21-14. Just like that, the Colts come back. But Deshaun Watson's finding Andre the Giant Johnson down the left side, getting it inside the 5. Another flip left to Arian Foster's freeze. He's got yet another touchdown. Peyton Manning would throw the ball over to Dallas Clark, the tight end he played with for the majority of his career with the Indianapolis Colts, and then to Raymond Berry, who is a very successful player for the Baltimore Colts. Peyton Manning, handoff, Eric Dickerson, finding the end zone, touchdown, and it is a 28-21 game. 2nd and long for the Texans. Deshaun Watson steps up, finds Kevin Walter. He's got the hat trick, and so does Deshaun Watson. The Texans win this game 42-21. They're 2-5. Colts are 3-3. The Cardinals are flying high this season. The Giants are barely over sea level. David Johnson comes back from injury, and he would get ready to play this game. Eli Manning, who is clutch in his day, would throw it down the right side. Fighting for extra yards is Odell Beckham Jr., 2 receptions for 124 yards in this game. In the red zone, Eli Manning finds the wide open Jeremy shocking the world. Jeremy Shockey with the touchdown. Back in with the field goal for the Cardinals. Giants will get the ball back. But the ball is fumbled, and Eli Manning drops it. It's going all over the place. It's recovered by the Cardinals. Very next series, Kurt Warner this time is sacked. He played a little bit for the Giants. It's a fumble recovered by Pepper Johnson. And then in the next series, Eli Manning play action, and Jeremy shocks the world, fumbling this one, recovered by Larry Wilson. Gain some extra yardage inside the 30, and then a touchdown run right there by David Johnson. Cardinals win 10-7. They're 6-1. Giants are 2-5. 2 cardiac cat teams playing in this one, the Jaguars and the Bengals. Jim Breach would kick this one off to begin the game. It'd be returned by Maurice Jones-Drew, and he would go around defenders to the 29, puts the ball on the ground. It's a fumble. Recovered by Lamar Parrish. And there would be a play action here for Joe Burrow. Throws into traffic. It's intercepted by Jalen Ramsey, but the ball's on the ground. It's a fumble recovered by the Bengals. Handoff left to Corey Dillon. He's in the end zone. He had 8 rushes for 42 yards, and that was his first of 2 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence, big player for the Jacksonville Jaguars, finding his tight end Mercedes Lewis. He's got the touchdown. 7 all, and the Jacksonville Jaguars get the ball back. Jimmy Smith, who is a reliable source for any quarterback, gets inside the 30. And now he's gunning for the end zone. He might get sacked. Trevor Lawrence is tackled. Ball's on the ground. Recovered by Reggie Williams of the Bengals. Bengals now in Jaguars territory. Joe Burrow is going to look for his former LSU teammate. It's Jamar Chase. They were teammates in college. Now they're teammates in the pros. And now he's going to hand off to Sticky Icky Woods, doing the Icky shuffle in the end zone. Bengals with the ball back in their own territory, up by 7. Joe Burrow is going to find Jamar Chase once again, his second reception. He had 101 receiving yards, and this was his only touchdown. Jaguars getting the ball back. Trevor Lawrence steps up, finds Mercedes Lewis over the middle, but Mercedes Lewis is injured. He would come out of the game, and he would be replaced by Evan Engram. They kicked the field goal, but the Bengals would get the ball back. Corey Dillon's got his second touchdown. The Bengals win this one 31-10. They're 2-5. The Jaguars are 1-6. The Vikings travel to Ford Field to play against the Detroit Lions, and Matthew Stafford would get the ball first. He'd load it deep to Herman Moore. This was his lone catch for 71 yards. Eventually, the Vikings would catch up, and in the human highlight reel, human joystick would get the touchdown. Fran Tarkenton for the Minnesota Vikings would fire deep in Lions territory, and the guy who only catches touchdowns, Chris Carter, he gets it. Next drive for the Vikings is an interception by Dick LeBeau, but the Jason Hanson field goal is no good. The Vikings have added 2 field goals in this game, and Adrian Peterson all day would dive for this one. His one reception for 33 yards would eventually get a touchdown on this day, but Steve Jordan would get this one. He would have 2 receptions for -1 yards and a touchdown. Huge stat line there. Justin Jefferson would get his first touchdown of the season, and the Minnesota Vikings win 34-7. They're 3-4. Lions are 1-5. Dolphins fresh off their first win, and no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Dan Marino in the first quarter on the first drive throws it deep to Paul Warfield, had 72 total receiving yards in this game. And then Dan Marino down the left side, diving catch by Mercury Morris, 2 receptions for 48 yards and a touchdown. Jim Kelly would get his first drive. He would throw intended for Thurman Thomas. It's intercepted by Jake Scott, and the Dolphins would be set up in business. Dan Marino down the right side to Tyreek Hill. They would add an Orlando Mari field goal, and then in Dolphins territory again, Tyreek Hill is wide open. 3 receptions for 74 yards and a touchdown. The Bills would eventually get a touchdown here by James Lofton, but it'd be too little too late, and the Miami Dolphins would get their second win, 17-10, and the Buffalo Bills are 3-3. It would be an understatement if I said the Ravens were struggling. They're on a 5-game skid, and they're at the Seahawks. Lamar Jackson would start this one, throw deep to Derek Mason, and that it was his lone reception for 55 yards and a touchdown. Matt Hasselbeck still taking over for Russell Wilson. Really bad pass intercepted by Chris McAllister, and the Ravens would capitalize. Jamal Lewis would go, "Get off me," scoring the touchdown. Matt Hasselbeck would get safetied, and now the Ravens are up by 2 possessions. Lamar Jackson would throw an interception intended for Shannon Sharp. It's intercepted by Richard Sherman. He'd rumble, bumble, stumble, go, "Get off me." 16-7 is the score. Hasselbeck would throw over the middle to Joey Galloway. Perfect pass, and now the Seahawks are down by 2. Lamar Jackson finds his tight end deep. Shannon Skip Sharp. And inside the red zone, Lamar Jackson would throw a really bad interception to Kenny Easley. Seahawks would take over with around 2 minutes left to go in this game. Matt Hasselbeck throwing to the 2005 league MVP, Sean Alexander. He makes it to the 1 yard line, and then Matt Hasselbeck on the very next play calls his own number. Seattle Seahawks complete a 21-point comeback, 21-16. They are 7-0. Ravens are 1-6. Chargers traveling to Tennessee to play the Titans/Oilers mix. Charlie Joyner comes back from injury, and right off the bat, he'd make things count, as Phillip Rivers would throw it deep to him. Big catch by Charlie Joyner. He'd make it into the end zone, 66 yards and a touchdown. That is his stat line for the day. Warren Moon throwing deep to Ernest Gibbons. All the Gibbons he could get with the big touchdown. Chargers find themselves in Titans/Oilers territory once again. Ball intended for Lowe is intercepted by Chris Dishman, but the ball goes on the ground. It's a fumble recovered by Keenan Allen. He gets to the 1 yard line, and LaDainian Tomlinson finishes the drive off with a touchdown. A shotgun draw for Tomlinson, 45 yards and 2 touchdowns. They're up 21-7. Eddie George fumbles on this one, recovered by Billy Ray Smith. Kading adds a field goal, and Eddie George makes up for this. He's off to the races as he would run for 126 total yards and a touchdown. Warren Moon would step up, find Eddie George. He would get a passing touchdown, and then Rob Baronis would onside kick it. It's recovered by the Titans/Oilers mix, and here is where Eddie George would get his direct snap draw for his rushing touchdown. However, the Chargers win. Titans/Oilers can't come back. 4-3, 2-5. All right, final game of the highlights. Saints at Bears at Soldier Field. Devin Hester comes back from injury, which is a big thing for the Chicago Bears. Starting out is Matt Forte as he go, get up, me. Kevin Butler would add the field goal, and then Drew Brees would jet it deep to Michael Thomas, who had a pretty big game, 89 yards and a touchdown there. Jim McMahon would follow it up with a touchdown of his own, giving it to Alshon Jeffrey, 105 yards and a touchdown. Very respectable game. The Saints would add a field goal, and it's tied. Drew Brees throws down the left side pretty short to Michael Thomas. He gets yards after the catch. And then Alvin Kamara, who was the player of the game, 12 rushes, 123 yards, and a touchdown, would give the Saints a 7-point lead. But the Bears aren't backing down. Jim McMahon, he's got no fear, firing it over the middle of the field across his body to Alshon Jeffrey, getting it inside the 20-yard line. They go for it on 4th down as Jim McMahon, play actions, surveys the field. He's sacked by Sam Mills. Sides retired. Bears would get the ball back. However, Jim McMahon would get intercepted by Tracy Porter. Saints win this game 17-10. They're 4-3, and the Bears are 3-3.